fights, and I want that title. That's right. Let's hit that bell, player. Let's get this rumble rolling. Let's go. Is you nervous, Cuddy? Yeah, I see you sweating. I see you. Ain't no time to turn back now. It's that bell, player. It's time to go now, Trek. What you saying? Ain't no time for backing out now. I'm coming at you orthodox stance style. Finna switch it up when I'm ready with you, player. Hit you with that official southpaw pride. Come toss me that combo now. Before I throw this left and make you wobble, child. Oh, you gon' be hard-headed now? Screw it, I'm coming at you Iron Mike style. Dropping you to the canvas right now. That's right, player. Nation, welcome to Nation Night Fights, your boxing report weekly with your boy Hijacker Mike. What's happening, Nation? Welcome to the first edition of Nation Night Fights, a boxing weekly report, recapping all the week's past fights, upcoming fights, with news along the way in the boxing world. I am your West Coast boy, Hijacker Mike. Ladies and gentlemen, on March 13th, we truly lost a southpaw legend in the world of boxing, Mr. Marvelous Marvin Hagler, someone I watched during my childhood during his tenure in the 1980s. He had the second longest title reign in the 20th century at 6 years and 7 months long. He was a true undisputed middleweight champion from 1980 to 1987. Named Fighter of the Decade for the 1980s by Boxing Illustrated magazine, twice Fighter of the Year from the Ring magazine and Boxing Writers Association of America in 1983 and also in 85. The Ring magazine named him fourth greatest middleweight of all time. His legendary fights with Alan Minter, where he won the WBA, WBC, and the Ring middleweight titles, also his bouts with Roberto Duran, Thomas the Hitman Hearns, and his last fight in his professional career versus Sugar Ray Leonard. In 1982, he was annoyed by TV network announcers often were not referring to him by his nickname Marvelous, which led Hagler to legally change his name to Marvelous Marvin Hagler. He left us boxing fans with a record of 62 wins, 3 defeats, and 2 draws. Marvelous, thank you. God bless you and your family. You will be missed. Godspeed, sir. Let's start off this first edition, 3/18/21, recapping the fights from this past week. First off, we'll talk about from Saturday, 3/13, David Benevidez, 24 wins, no losses, 21 wins by KO, showed a punching display during his fight with Ronald Ellis, 18 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws with 12 KOs. In this one-sided matchup, stopping Ellis during the 11th round on last Saturday night in a WBC 168-pound super middleweight title eliminator fight, Benevidez needed a few rounds to get warmed up, but gave a lopsided beating to Ellis pretty much in all of the first 10 rounds of the bout. During the 11th round, ref Johnny Callis stepped in and stopped the bout. This was at the 2-minute, 3-second mark of the 11th round. This should set up Benevidez and Canelo sometime in the near future. On the same fight card, Isaac Pitbull Cruz, 21, 1-1 with 15 KOs, defeats Matias Romero, 24-1 with 8 KOs by a 12-round unanimous decision in a WBA 135-pound lightweight title eliminator bout. The judges' scorecards were 114-113, 115-112, 118-109 win, even though during the 6th round, Pitbull Cruz lost a point for a low blow. 154-pound junior middleweight bout with the contender Terrell Gausha, 22-2-1 with 11 KOs, beat Jamontay Clark, 15-2-1 with 7 KOs by a stunning second-round knockout. Gausha landed a solid right hand that put Clark down to the canvas in the second round. After Clark got up, Gausha finished him off with a series of flurry shots before ref Arthur McCaskill stepped in and stopped the fight. The time of the stoppage was at 2 minutes and 44 seconds. Also, from American Airlines Center in Dallas this past Saturday night, Juan Francisco Estrada retained his WBC and the Ring Super Flyweight titles and added the WBA Super Flyweight title to his collection with a hard-fought split decision victory over Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. It was a rematch that took just about 8 years in the making after Chocolatito had defeated Estrada in November of 2012. Estrada got the edge in this action-packed back-and-forth battle between the two. This bout was action-packed from the beginning to the end. Estrada unified the titles, but with the series now 1-1, we expected that third fight will happen, and we won't have to wait 8 years. This fight made history in the 115-pound super flyweight division by setting a record of 2,529 punches thrown in the fight, with Estrada landing 314 of 1,212, 26%, while Chocolatito landed 391 of his 1,317 punches thrown, 30%. Estrada, who came out on top with one scorecard of 115-113 and a rather strange scorecard that had him ahead 117-111, and the third judge scorecard favored Chocolatito 115-113. Quick news from this fight: the World Boxing Association, WBA, has officially placed veteran ring official Carlos Sucre on temporary suspension less than a day after his role as a ringside official for the rematch. On another fight that happened Sunday night, Jessica McCaskill, with a record of 10 wins, 2 losses, 3 by the way of KO, has retained her WBA, WBC, IBF, and WBO welterweight titles in a unanimous decision over Cecilia Brækhus. She's 36-2 with 9 KOs in this 147-pound women's welterweight division bout by a scorecard of 110-89, 99-90, and 98-91. This fight was back and forth from the start. These two traded combos and hard punches round by round. McCaskill gets the huge upset victory, as some of the observers felt Brækhus had fought hard enough to get the win herself. A possible third match in the works? We shall see. In another matchup, Hiroto Kyoguchi versus Alex Aragon Vega. Kyoguchi, 15 wins, no losses, 10 by way of KO in his first bout here in the United States, won by technical knockout and retained his WBA 108-pound light flyweight title. Though this wasn't a typical technical knockout, Alex Aragon Vega, 14-4-1 with 8 KOs. Inside the middle of the 5th round, Vega landed a punch to the side of Kyoguchi's head, which caused Vega to grimace in pain and also turn his back to Kyoguchi. Referee Raul Quez Jr. quickly realized Vega couldn't continue and stopped the bout at the 1-minute 32-second mark of the 5th round. Here's the upcoming fight card for this upcoming weekend for Friday 3/19 and Saturday 3/20. Saturday 3/20 on the DAZN network, we have a 12-round, 200-pound Cruiserweight division matchup contest between Lawrence Okolie, 15 wins, 0 losses, and 12 coming by the way of KO, versus Krzysztof, 31 wins, 2 losses, with 19 coming by way of knockout. Okolie is currently ranked number 2 by the WBO and number 6 by the Ring, while Głowacki is ranked number 1 by the WBO and number 3 by the Ring in the Cruiserweight division. This is for the vacant WBO crown. On the undercard, we have a Cruiserweight bout for the vacant WBA Continental title between Chris Billam-Smith, 11 wins, 1 loss, and 10 KOs, versus Vasil Ducar, 9 wins, 3 losses, with 8 KOs and 1 draw. In a super middleweight WBA international title bout, Anthony Fowler, 13 wins, 1 loss, and 10 KOs, versus Jorge Forte, 21 wins, 2 losses, with 7 KOs. Also, super featherweight bout between Joe Cordina, 11 wins, 0 losses, with 7 KOs, versus Farouk Korbanov, 17 wins, 2 losses, and 13 KOs. Also in middleweight contention, we have Bradley Ray, 9 wins, 0 losses, with 3 KOs, versus Lee Cutler, 7 wins, 0 losses, and 4 KOs. And in the women's division, we have Ellie Scotney, 1 win, 0 losses, versus Melis Gangloff, 4 wins, 1 loss, with 1 KO. Also on Saturday night, 3/20, we have a welterweight division 12-round bout between Virgil Ortiz Jr., 16 wins, 0 losses, and 0 draws, 16 way of KO, will take on Maurice Hooker, 27 wins, 1 loss, 3 draws, with 18 coming by way of KO. Also on that fight card, we have Annabelle Ortiz versus Sanisa Estrada for Ortiz's WBA women's strawweight title. Also, we have Luis Hernandez versus Alex Martin in the junior welterweight. We also have George Rincon versus Luis Solis in the junior welterweight. We have Hector Valdez versus Alberto Torres in the junior featherweight division. And also we will have a matchup between Tristan Kalkruth versus Dustin Long in a cruiserweight division matchup. In some quick boxing news, Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua have reported agreed to terms in a 2-fight contract to unify boxing's heavyweight championships. The 2-fight contract could land each fighter just about $139 million apiece. Dates for both bouts have not yet been determined. Mark Kriegel noted that the first fight could come as early as June or July of this year, with the rematch taking place later on this year in November or possibly December. Also, Mayweather plans to work with Joshua ahead of his $200+ million mega fight with Tyson Fury. Mayweather was ringside last December to watch Joshua retain his heavyweight world titles when he was heard offering tactical advice during the fight and visited the champ's dressing room afterwards. You can reach me, Hijacker Mike, out on Twitter at Mr. Mac, MISTAMACC, or you can also follow me here on YouTube at Hijacker Mike. I don't have a link yet because I need 100 subscribers to get my own personal link, so let's help out with that. We all got to start somewhere, right? Thanks for joining me on my first edition of Nation Night Fights, and I will see you next week, y'all. Back to our Nation Sports Show with the boys. Peace.